Hey, it's Jaden.
And Melissa.
And Christy.
We're
the co-founders of Launchers Academy.
And we help dropshippers become successful by providing the most relevant e-commerce strategies.
You're tuning into the Launchers Academy podcast experience,
where you will learn all the ins and outs of how to build your very own successful dropshipping store.
So kick back, take lots of notes, and let's make money this year.
Welcome back to another episode of our Launchers Academy podcast experience. Now, what we have today is quite an interesting topic that we want to address. Dropshipping has a stigma around it that most people don't actually make money from dropshipping. And you know what? That's true. Not everyone is going to make money if they get into dropshipping. In fact, most people getting into dropshipping don't actually make money. So for today, we want to talk about why 99% of dropshippers that go into dropshipping fail. I'm going to start the episode off based on what I've seen from being in dropshipping and e-commerce industry for a hot minute now. And then I'm going to have Jaden and Christy put in what they think as well. So what I really want to talk about starting off is really mindset. So dropshipping, there are really lower barriers to entry. So technically, anyone can really start off in dropshipping with as little money as possible. Even, $100 to $200 investment, you can start. But because most people can start the store and start in dropshipping, is just as easy to start than it is easy to give up. Now, if you don't have enough patience and persistence, not only in dropshipping but in life, then honestly, you won't be able to succeed in anything. And how you do one thing is how you really do anything. So most people fail because they do not have the patience and persistence in business to really build up a business from the get-go. And if you Google top easiest businesses to start in 2020, in 2021, dropshipping will probably be pretty high up there. So if you think about it, because anyone can really get into this business, that's why you hear a lot of failed dropshipping stories, because there really isn't that filter in order to, have someone meet a certain threshold before they actually get into dropshipping. I almost feel like if dropshipping was harder to start, it will filter out the people who are actually serious about it, so that it would also mean there would be a higher success rate of people succeeding in dropshipping. Jaden, what do you think about that?
I love it. I mean, mindset's super important, right? The first thing for anyone to succeed at anything is you got to really believe in yourself and really set expectations. To kind of piggyback off of that, and before I jump into, my kind of tip of why I see a lot of dropshippers fail, is that because the stigma is built around it, where you can find a product, slap on a website, run some ads, wake up tomorrow, become a millionaire. With that kind of expectations, a lot of people discourage themselves, and the mindset really starts, getting negative and dwindle to the point where they just talk themselves out of doing it in the first place. So you're not going to be a millionaire overnight. You're not going to find a winning product right away. More importantly, which kind of segues into, my reason here is that if you're doing this alone, you're not going to see results right away. I love what you had to say there, Melissa, because mindset's super important. Because honestly, if this was really that easy, it can be easy, but it's really not. And what I mean by that is, if you're able to actually find a formula that works, which is going to be, my second, biggest advice to, you listening there of why most dropshippers fail. Before I do, is that if this was as easy as everyone makes it seem and you were going to be a millionaire overnight, then why aren't all of we millionaires overnight? Why are there's only a top 90% of people out there that's already started and give up, but there's only a top 10% that actually do well at it? It's because it's not as easy as it seems. It can be, but you need the right help. Because if it was, then all of us will be billionaires at this, and all of us will be just thriving, but we're not. And that's why there's only a small fraction of people that are doing it well. And here's why. Outside of mindset, my biggest advice for you listening is getting real help. You see, mindset has a lot to do with this as well, but technically if you are in the frame of mind to think that you can really do this by yourself, to rely on the free materials and invest in a bunch of cheap courses here and there and you'll stumble upon success, it's not going to be like that. In order for you to achieve this, it's about not making so many of your own mistakes. You will make some. But it's about being able to really just bypass all that and really work with a mentor, someone that has a proven recipe, someone that can teach you to bake that proper tiramisu or that proper red velvet cake. Because here's the analogy. If you don't know how to, bake a cake, for example, or a cupcake, and you haven't been formally trained and you're not a pastry chef, what's the first thing you're going to do if you did want to bake a cake? You're going to go on Google, you're going to type in how to bake a cupcake, you find a recipe, and then once you find the recipe, you're going to buy the specific ingredients and you're going to do the directions exactly how it's laid out. And if you do it exactly this, how it's laid out to a T, once you open your oven, you're probably going to sit with a really good cupcake. And that's the same analogy metaphorically to what dropshipping is. Because if you have that recipe, that concept that's already been proven, that's already worked for someone else, that they can pass down to you, that's how you're going to succeed. But most people, this is how they would actually bake a cupcake as a dropshipper, is that they're going to pretty much just buy random ingredients that might make sense. Then they're just going to mix it however they want. They don't know the difference between separating the dry ingredients from the wet ingredients, setting the temperature a specific way, cracking the eggs a certain way, the amount of sugar, the amount of salt, etc. that goes into this recipe. So they throw everything together hoping it works. Hope is not a strategy. So when you open up the oven, you're probably not going to have a really good cupcake, or probably not even a cupcake at all. It's probably going to look like a pudding. And if it is a cupcake, you taste it, it's too salty, it's too sugary, etc. That's what most people do. So my biggest advice for you, if you truly want to succeed out of this and you do have the right mindset, it's about actually being able to invest into yourself, because what you're doing in dropshipping, all the money that you're spending, it's not a waste, it's not a cost, it's an investment. In order for you to succeed, you have to invest in yourself. So trying to do this yourself, to rely on the free advices, and going back to the top 3 mistakes in an earlier episode that we shot, is that one of the mistakes is relying on the free content like the YouTube and the Google. They don't work, will never work, have never worked. It's outdated, it doesn't work, or at the end of the day, you don't know how to apply it, or unless you have a lot of money to keep making those mistakes to really find out what works and what not works. But who really has time and money for that? Not a lot of us. So being able to really have the mindset to work with someone that's proven, as opposed to working by yourself to save a couple $100, $1,000, which will be the exact same money you waste anyways, which is something I want to bring up. But before I do, is being able to really be bigger than yourself. Invest into proper mentorship, or invest into someone that can guide you along the way. Because if you do by yourself, you'll not get very far. Because the people that failed before you, as you're listening, why 99% of people fail in dropshipping is because they think they can do it themselves. And the best way I can really, get you to understand, said by, Albert Einstein, is that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. So trying to constantly absorb free content and seeing a spectacular result is never going to happen. So I want to wrap up in saying is, if you're capable financially, mentally, and really you believe in it, and you've done your due diligence, having a strong mindset to realize that if you're to work with someone, it's an investment to help you bring to where you are. But let me kind of wrap up in saying here, from my advice to you, is that the amount of money you're not willing to invest into proper mentorship or guidance will be the exact same amount of money you will waste doing yourself as a dropshipper to see no results. So that would be my biggest advice for you, because if you're able, if not, just save up for it. Because if you're just going to run at this by yourself with no help, you're just going to waste that money anyways. And that's where you will give up. And that's where even having a strong mindset won't be as helpful, because you don't see the results. So having the mindset for a greater purpose, to invest into yourself, to actually work with someone, that's where you will see the results, because you're not going to make the mistakes yourself. So that would be my advice.
Love that. And the moment that you make that shift, right, from thinking of it not as an expense or just buying a course, but really thinking about it as a way of, it's a business investment to actually help you create the business of your dreams, or the business that you want to create, then that's already the shift in the mindset that you need in order to become a real business owner or a real entrepreneur. So that's very, very important. And it all really starts from having that proper mindset when you jump into dropshipping to make this something that is long-lasting, successful, and to have yourself succeed in this business as well. Because dropshipping, like all other businesses out there, it really is just a business model that you're applying to building up your own business. So once you understand that, that's really where the different strategies, tactics that we've talked about in different episodes is really going to help you get where you are. But if you don't have the right mindset in place, then no matter the strategies and tactics you apply, you're going to apply them, but you're just going to give up and you're not going to be persistent in it to actually create a successful long-term business. And Christy, I'm going to pass it off to you. Now, what would you say is another reason that 99% of dropshippers that start dropshipping fail?
Yeah, I loved what the both of you shared just now, Melissa and Jaden. So for me, I would actually add, when it comes to getting mentorship as well and having so much to learn, it's essentially learning dropshipping and being successful at it is really having the hunger to continuously learn new strategies and not giving up when it gets hard because the whole dropshipping journey, there are a lot of different steps, and each step can have its own difficulties. And if you stop having the hunger to learn, that's when you can really fail yourself in this dropshipping journey. So for example, you might not have too much technical experience, and when it comes to the store creation step, and you're just really stuck on how to put together a winning store, and then that's when you start feeling that you want to give up, that's where you're leading yourself towards failure. And that's, again, where mentorship comes in, because you really have someone that's going to work with you and guide you along the process because they've already done it. So anytime you face any challenges, you're able to get help on that. But other than that, there is a lot to learn when it comes to dropshipping. So never, ever stop learning and always keep on thinking of new strategies as well when it comes to finding your winning product or trying to brand your winning product and selling it out in the market. There's always so much to learn when it comes to dropshipping, and you always have to have that curiosity and that hunger for learning so that you can succeed in dropshipping.
Love that. And so we started this episode off with talking a lot about mindset and shifting that mindset so that you are ensuring that you are set up for success when you do start applying strategies and tactics. Now, with every episode that we have, we always try to give you tangible tactics and strategies that you can apply right away in order to make sure you are, succeeding in your dropshipping journey. So kind of flipping back to what we normally do in our other episodes where it's providing a little bit more tangible steps. Now, what would you say, Jaden, is one of the tips you would give to have someone become part of that 1% of dropshippers that succeed?
I would just say, honestly, as much as you want to be cost effective and also price sensitive and very considerate of your, hard-earned precious dollars that you worked really hard for, it's about actually considering to invest into someone to help you, whether it's someone you've been stalking for a while, whether it's someone you look up to, someone that you've heard, and really kind of absorb their content and then to the point where you actually invest into them. So my step for you tangibly would be that, find out who you want to work with, save up some money to work with them. Because that money will go a lot further for you to learn with them than having that same amount of money for you to test things and pretty much tell yourself that dropshipping doesn't work when in fact it does work. Otherwise, e-commerce as a whole wouldn't exist because a lot of the e-commerce stores and business owners out there that got to where they are, there's a little bit of dropshipping in them. If not, they started completely from dropshipping. And we can name, dozens and dozens of stores that leverage the dropshipping model, not just ourselves, but honestly, that would be my step for you is find who you want to work with, do a little bit of digging in terms of what you would have to save up financially in order to work with them. And please just don't dive into it right away and just waste your money. You can research, But here's the other thing about research. Here's another step as well. Don't research until your mind goes black. Don't be in an analysis paralysis stage. Take some action because you can research all you want, but there's no such thing as perfection. There's no such thing as the right time to start. The best time to start now, is now. So what I would suggest for you is really find that, see how much you're going to have to invest, find the person you want to work with and save up to work with that person because it's going to do you wonders. It's going to literally save you tens and thousands in the long run of you having to make your mistakes. So please consider, if you don't want to be amongst the 99% of people who fail at this, don't have the, stiff mindset that you can do this by yourself. You cannot, will not. I have not seen anyone be able to do this by themselves with actually some help before wasting tens and thousands of dollars. And some of the students we work with, they have already wasted a couple of $1,000s before they get started. And when we started teaching them, how they can succeed with our methods and stuff, they were completely blown away because they were just relying a lot on YouTube and Google, which chances are you listening, you're probably going to rely on that as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. But let's just tell you, we want to save you those couple of $1,000s and months of you doubting yourself because you can do it, but you just need the right help.
And I love that. And just to add on a little bit here as well, when myself and Christy started, before we teamed up with Jaden, we were in the mindset of DIYing everything ourselves as well. So we were like, okay, you know what? We're just going to test different strategies ourselves that we found online or that we came across. And really, what we really found out from doing this is we actually just wasted half a year, to be honest. And there was a lot of just, okay, are you sure we should do this? Well, we don't really know because this is what we researched, but it's just bits and pieces of different information. But the moment that we actually invested in mentorship, that's when I saw that change. And Christy can add on if you want as well. But not only in the different strategies and tactics that I learned in order to become successful a lot faster than if I were to test this myself, but also understanding how our mentor think from an e-commerce perspective, how he thought as a marketer, and learning what he was saying and hearing the discussions and topics that we were talking about only made us better marketer ourselves. And that is not something that you'll be able to get just from reading articles or finding information online. It doesn't help you become that better marketer, but if you are able to be as close, to that mentor as possible in terms of hearing their thoughts and perspective, that's really when you're going to develop so much more as an entrepreneur within e-commerce.
Mm-hmm. And I remember that time when we were deciding whether to start a general store or a one product store, and following some of the strategies out there, we actually started with the one product store, but really we should have done, general store, which would have been the better way to test out different products before we really narrowed down on a product that we thought would work. So that was one of the things that we really learned following a mentor, and then just knowing all the different strategies that really worked for them versus trying to come up with your own strategy or trying to follow some outdated strategies on YouTube. Just following a mentor was really, really helpful in that sense because everything was also up to date, and there was a whole process around it that has been proven. And essentially, you're just following each step of that process that has already been, proven in terms of making a lot of money for dropshippers, and even for the mentor themselves, and being able to repeat that process to ensure that a lot of successful dropshipping businesses are created. And that's where the value of following a mentor comes in, and just being able to learn all the latest strategies and latest tools and everything within dropshipping.
Love that. So we talked in this episode a lot about mentorship and investing and finding the right person. Now, let's give another tangible tip that our viewers can really, utilize in their dropshipping journey in order to be part of that 1% of successful dropshippers. Christy, I'll throw it back to you to give that one additional tip.
Yeah, I want to get a bit more technical here when it comes to the website because oftentimes I've seen a lot of new dropshippers that really fail is because their website ends up looking like a spammy dropshipping website. And we covered quite a bit about that earlier on, talking about how customers are really smart now in 2021. They're not going to believe in a website that looks exactly like it's a dropshipping website. And that really creates that negative impression for them when they go onto the store. And so you really want to focus on making your overall store credible, as we always talk about, and then making sure that everything is high quality and everything looks clean and simple, not too spammy. So what spammy means, having the cart timer, as Jaden previously mentioned, and then having a ton of pop-ups, which we've seen in some very spammy dropshipping stores. And then also I wanted to cover a few new nuggets as well when it comes to customer reviews. So not really cleaning up those customer reviews. A lot of times dropshippers, they'll import some reviews from AliExpress and they don't really sift through the different reviews. So sometimes the reviews are sounding very spammy and fake as well. So you want to really go through the customer reviews as well, and making sure that the reviews highlight product benefits and really talk about the positive customer experience that they've had. And then also when it comes to, again, with the images, not having a lot of spammy images that have a lot of text and diagrams, that really gives a negative impression when people go onto the site. And that's what really makes a lot of dropshippers fail in this business.
And the very last tip that I'll talk about and throw in here is testing, and testing. So with any business out there, it's very important for you to actually continuously test even when you find something that works, because there's always a way to make something better, more efficient, or more effective. So definitely always be testing different things that will work for both your website as well as your ad creatives. So when we say testing ad creatives, that would be using different videos, different ad copies, testing different audiences. You might find additional winning pockets of audience from that, and then changing up and testing your different ad strategies that you're using. Because as a business, and even in e-commerce, when everything is changing so fast every single day, if you do not test things are going to change and you're going to be left behind. So the importance of testing is so important, and having that mindset that you need to continuously test consistently is something that you need to understand and continue to stay ahead of the e-commerce curve. Now, this episode has been very value-packed. We talked about really 3 key things here. Number 1 is really making sure that you have the mindset and invest in an actual mentor so you are able to get ahead and be part of that 1% successful dropshippers. Number 2 is making sure that you have a proper landing page so that you're able to show credibility, build that know, like, and trust so that you actually get sales and get customers. And number 3 is testing. Keep continuously testing, even when you found things work, because e-commerce is always changing. And in order for you to stay ahead of the curve, you always have to be learning and you always have to be testing. So with that, keep making money, guys. We're going to drop you so much more valuable tips and bombs in later episodes, so stay tuned.
Did you enjoy this episode?
If you did, which we believe you did, as we dropped a ton of value,
support us by giving us a 5-star rating.
That's 5 stars, not 3, not 4, but 5 stars.
Also, we'd love to hear from you, so please leave your comment below.
And we'll be sure to get back to you. Take care, and until next time.